Hi guys, so I am super excited about this project I'm going to share with you today. It turned out so cute. I think you'll like it. So I'm using a bamboo cutting board, one of the smaller ones, and peat pots from the Dollar Tree. So to begin with, I got this new silicone mold from Temu. So I'm just putting, they're little ropes, different shapes of ropes. And so I'm just putting a line of hot glue in it, in that one rope mold. And I had trouble getting some of my glue out for a minute there, so it seems a little bit slow getting out. But I just wanted to make sure the one I was using, each little spot was even. So I've got that in that. They're just little bumpy bumps, and I'll just set that aside to dry. It only takes a couple minutes. So while that's setting up, I'm going to paint my board antique white, just acrylic paint by Full Cart. And I'm just using a little foam makeup sponge to put it on real quick. And I'm just going to put one coat on because I'm going to sand it anyway. So one coat just is perfectly fine for this. Sometimes I really like using makeup sponges and to apply paint. That way you don't have to wash out brushes. I don't know if it's laziness or just efficiency, but it works. So I'm going to give it a good quick dry with my heating tool. If you don't have a heating tool, a blow dryer works, or if you have plenty of time, just let it air dry. Just filling it to make sure it's nice and dry. Now I've got this little gator sander that I got on Temu, I believe. Maybe it was Amazon. You can get them there or Home Depot, I believe, Walmart, I believe. Just giving it a good sand, making it smooth and sanding off and distressing the edges mostly. So now I'm taking just one of these little peat pots and I'm going to cut it exactly in half best I can. I don't have the sharpest scissors. I need to upgrade my scissors, but it was cutting through fine. I was just making sure they lay flat, and I'm just going to paint them with some burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel. Again, just using a little sponge. And this peat stuff, it really soaks in the paint, so it drinks it up. And I wasn't looking for complete coverage. I wanted it, kind of weathered and old looking. But I did still need to I was surprised how much paint it soaked up. Now, I'm not the first to do this. I've seen several of similar projects, and so I just had to do my take on it and try this out. So I would definitely give credit if I knew who started it. But it's so cute. So I'm just going to make sure these are good and dry. Had a big glob on the bottom there, so I just kind of wiped it on my parchment paper I have underneath my project. Once those are dry, I'm going to put a tiny bit of the antique white paint just on various spots along the rim on top and the bottom, just to give it a little definition. So I would get just a tiny bit on my paintbrush and then just kind of dab it on my parchment paper so it wasn't real heavy on my brush. Now I have some of this burlap ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to hot glue that all along the rim there. And I thought it looked really cute on the top of that pot. And even though this is a spring project, I always just do neutrals. Those are the colors that I attract to. I'm always doing, I love greenery in just about anything, but then I'm always doing browns and creams and whites, and which is great. It goes with just about any decor. So now I took that mold out and just cut it the width I needed it, the length I needed it to go across that board. And then you just simply glue on the glue. Isn't that interesting? But I'm going to have so much fun with these new molds. I know I am. Just gluing it on along that strip. Making sure it's adhered and getting off the glue strings. And now I'm going to paint it to match the board. And I decided it worked a little bit better with that small little paintbrush. Getting in all the little tiny cracks and crevices. And I really like the look that that little glue strip gave. Just trying to blend in the paint with the rest of the paint on my board. And I didn't want to lay my project in that wet paint, so I folded over my parchment paper. Now I'm trying to decide just where I want to set these pots, and I'm going to hot glue that edge there all the way around it. And just glue it right on there. And I'm just loving this already. I think it's so cute. So now I'm just going to stick some Spanish moss down there. Decided I better put a little bit of glue in each one. Make sure it stays stuck down there. I love Spanish moss. It's such a messy product though. You can get it everywhere, but I love the look it gives. So I'm just trimming it up. Shake off the excess there. So off camera I decided to clean up my mess a little bit and got rid of that messy parchment paper. Now I'm gluing some sprigs of greenery down into the pots. And this is a boxwood plant that I got from Walmart. And I use these on a lot of projects. I love the small little leaves and the color. I think it's just really cute, really pretty. And just to give it a little dab of a pop of color, I'm putting some little white little, I guess berry, maybe little blossoms. And I got those at Dollar Tree, I know. And I didn't think it needed too much. I wanted the greenery to be most of what was coming out of there. Decided to put a little wood heart on the front of one and then two little round buttons on the other one. And then I decided to paint the heart the antique white. So I just put a little bit of paint on my brush there and smooth it out just on the top layer of that heart. So now I've got this, I believe it's 16 gauge wire. I will check on that gauge, I'm not sure. I got this on Amazon. So I'm just sticking it through from the back of the hole and just rounding it, and then I'm wrapping it around a pin, just folding it and making it so it's not a perfect little curve. Sticking it through the other one and then doing the same thing on that, just rounding that. Then I'll just place it where it needs to be a nice handle for our project. Sorry, I'm moving off camera a little bit there. Sometimes I forget about it and I get the project too close to my body. Now I'm just kind of pushing those down, and Now I'm going to go around all the edge with some Kiehl's dark sealing wax, and I'll go over that bumpy mold as well. Just blend it all in and kind of weather it and give it a little definition on those edges. I just like that darker edge distressed look. If you don't like it, obviously you can skip this part. So I had an empty spot down below that one pot, and I decided I needed something there. So I got one of the small tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree, and I painted it the same color, the antique white, and then I put the Kiehl's dark sealing wax around it. Now I'm just going to use my micron pen in black, and I'm just writing the word bloom. Just going over the letters a couple times, and then I'll just glue it on in that spot below that left pot. And I like how that just kind of finished it off. And last but not least, I need to make a bow. So I'm going to start off with a little piece of twine in my Bodabra. I got that on Amazon. I've got the mini one, and it works just fine for most of my projects. And I'm just going back and forth with some jute twine. And then I had a strip of black and white ticking that I tore a strip off, some fabric. So I'm putting a couple hoops of those. And then I decided right here, before I put more twine, I'm going to put some sisal. I just got a brand new bag of sisal, and this is going to be fun for my projects. It's similar to Spanish moss and Excelsior and all those. It's just a little more fine, and I like the extra little touch it gives my projects. So now I'm just going to tie that off, and I'm not going to cut the ends off. I'm just going to leave them in my bow. So I'm just fluffing it, and then I realize I need a lot of trimming up on my bow to trim those tails of that ticking fabric. And then also I'll be getting the twine tails trimmed as well. Moved off camera again. I apologize about that. And I love it. I just think it looks so, so cute. Little trimming, and we're done. I love how it turned out, and off camera I ended up putting a little button on that bow. And I hope this inspires you to make something similar, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and follow. Please subscribe to my channel, and that is it. Thank you. Bye-bye.